Oh my goodness, this is becoming a soap opera right in front of our face. If it wasn't so serious, I would be laughing right now. Somebody's lying. Either it's open or it's not. Somebody's lying. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tirade TV. Glad you can join. As always, if you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All comments are welcome as long as it's tasteful and respectful. So you know how I do it. I like to get right into it. Um, this is a soap opera, people. This is a freaking soap opera, um, playing out right in front of our eyes, and it's like I want to laugh, and you may see me occasionally smile, but wow, man, this is unbelievable, man, unbelievable. It's just like two. You ever been in high school and you seen two people bicker back and forth? One says something, then the other says something, then one retaliates, then the other retaliates. That's is what this is becoming. Let's uh let's take a look at this first article here. This is I don't understand, man. Wow, I do not understand. Feast your eyes on that right there. According to Newsmax, this article's from Newsmax. Busloads of migrants arrived from Texas outside VP Harris's house. Wow, this is goes on to say two busloads of migrants arrived outside Vice President Kamala Harris's residence early Thursday morning. The Washington Examiner reported that Texas Governor Greg Abbott's administration had approved the drop-off. The migrants were dropped off at a bus stop nearby Harris's residence in the Naval Observatory residence in Washington, D.C. It came after Harris said Sunday the southern border is secure. That's funny. She says it's secure, and then what? 4 or 5 days later, they're at her front door. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, Harris said, quote, "We have a secure border and that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration. But there are still a lot of problems that we're trying to fix given the deterioration that happened over the last 4 years." Unquote. I don't remember this happening like this over the past 4 years. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't remember that. The New York Post reported a representative from a charity called Sanctuary DMV arrived on the scene outside Harris's home and told the migrants they would be transported to a local church where they would be offered aid. Mm. WUSA TV in Washington, D.C. noted the bus drop off came exactly as a week after Mayor Muriel, I can't get this lady's name right. What kind of name is this? Mayor Muriel Bowser declared a state of emergency in response to the busloads of migrants coming into the nation's capital from Texas and Arizona. With the emergency declaration, Bowser has the power to establish a new department, the Office of Migrant Services, which can provide up to $10 million worth of services to incoming migrants. This is wow. You can catch the rest of the story on this and here on Newsmax's website, newsmax.com. But as I said, this is becoming an entire soap opera. I mean, come on, man. This is, now think about this. Kamala Harris said, I think the article said on Sunday that the borders were safe or secure. But here it is Thursday, and they're bringing some to her home. Somebody's lying. Is Texas, Arizona, and Florida lying, or Washington, D.C.'s lying? Somebody's lying because these people are coming from somewhere. I want you all to think about that. These people are freaking coming from somewhere. And for you all out there who think it's not that important, let me tell you this. It may not be right now because they may not be in your neighborhood destructing things, putting your wife and kids and or husband and your property in danger. But at some point, they will be in your neighborhood. If they're not already there, they will be there. Because what I see happen potentially is kind of what's happening in Chicago right now, Illinois right now, where basically they sent some of the migrants or the immigrants, some if not all, to the nearest neighborhood. I think it was what they call a red county or red neighborhood, whatever, where it's mostly Republicans. And that's all they're going to do. They're going to find a way to send these people back to red states or back to quote unquote red counties within that state. That's all they're going to do. They're going to be going back and forth, back and forth. So at some point, some way, somehow, these immigrants are going to end up in or near your neighborhoods. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when the crime rate goes up? When especially sex trafficking, when that goes up. If it hasn't happened already, when the fentanyl, you know, so-called fentanyl outbreak, I guess you can say, starts happening in your neighborhood, what are you going to do? Because trust and believe, that southern border, they're bringing in drugs. Not only are there people coming in, there are drugs coming in too. So what are you going to do? So it may not be important for you right now, but it will be at some point. Remember that. Also, yesterday, looking at this one here, Ron DeSantis takes credit for this. It says this is for via Fox News here. It says Ron DeSantis sends 2 planes of illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. Florida governor sends migrants to Martha's Vineyard as part of a program to transport illegal immigrants to sanctuary destinations. First of all, if you consider yourself a sanctuary destination, don't get upset and don't be outraged when someone sends, immigrants to you, illegal immigrants to you. I love how some of uh, these news publications or mainstream media outlets, they love to use the word migrants. They don't want to say illegal immigrants. Like we're stupid. Illegal immigrants. I think Fox News is probably the only one that uses the term or the phrase illegal immigrants. You look at the other ones, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, they all use uh migrants. Everyone now know that these people are illegal immigrants. It's crazy, man. That's how media messes with your mind, or try to anyway. This goes on to say, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis followed through on his promise to drop off illegal immigrants in progressive states, sending 2 planes full of migrants to Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday. Let me stop right there. It was, I would say, about 6, 7, maybe 8 months ago. It was earlier this year where Governor DeSantis actually hinted at sending these illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard or Delaware. And look like he's followed up on that so far. The article goes on to read, a video provided to Fox News Digital shows the immigrants deboarding the planes at Martha's Vineyard Airport in Massachusetts. Quote, yes, Florida can confirm the 2 planes with illegal immigrants that arrived in Martha's Vineyard today were part of the state's relocation program to transport illegal immigrants to sanctuary destinations, unquote. The governor's communications director, Taryn Finsky, told Fox News Digital. Soap opera, man. Quote, states like Massachusetts, New York, and California will better facilitate the care of these individuals who they have invited into our country by incentivizing illegal immigration through their designation as sanctuary states and support for the Biden administration's open border policies, unquote, she said. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're going to call yourself a sanctuary state, like I said, don't be in an uproar. Don't go nuts when you get a busload or a plane load full of illegal immigrants. You get what you want, right? Quote, as you may know, in the past legislative session in Florida, legislature appropriated $12 million to implement a program to facilitate the transport of illegal immigrants from this state consistent with federal law, unquote, she added. The Office of Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker responded to an after-hours email from Fox News Digital saying it was aware of the situation and that the arrivals were provided short-term shelter. Short-term shelter. So what happens in the long term? That's my question. What happens in the long term? Quote, the Baker-Polito administration is in touch with local officials regarding the arrival of migrants in Martha's Vineyard, unquote. Terry McCormack, Baker's press secretary, wrote, quote, at this time, short-term shelter services are being provided by local officials, and the administration will continue to support those efforts, unquote. Wow. I'm just amazed that this is even happening right now. I'm just freaking amazed that this is even happening right now, because this wasn't happening. It was happening. Maybe a few people were getting through here and there, but not nearly at this rate. Not nearly at this rate. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this was not happening. So obviously, there's something that making these illegal immigrants believe that it's okay just to shoot over here. There's something. If they really thought that they are not supposed to be here, honestly, I don't think many of them will be coming. But in their mind, something's causing them to think, oh yeah, it's okay to try to get across the border, try to come through southern Texas, southern Arizona, try to come through Florida, maybe even a little bit of the southern California, but mostly the first three states. Something's causing this. Let's look at this here. Let's look at this video from this morning. I believe it's Fox News here. It's I don't know, man. It's getting crazy. This goes to show that somebody is lying. Because remember, Kamala Harris said that the borders are secure. Let's take a look at this.
This is something new. Buses filled with migrants from our southern border have just arrived outside Vice President Kamala Harris's residence at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. Griff Jenkins is live on the scene to tell us more. Griff, is that Massachusetts Avenue that I'm looking at right there?
Yeah. Good morning, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian. This bus just arrived moments ago. I talked to some of the folks. Apparently, this bus has come from Del Rio, Texas. That's what a gentleman on the bus told me. And he's, pardon me, ¿de dónde eres?
De Venezuela.
¿Venezuela? ¿Habla inglés?
No.
¿Sí, no? ¿No? La presidenta Harris dice que frontera cerrado. La frontera es cerrado or abierto?
Abierto.
Abierto. So what she's saying, Steve, I asked her if Vice President Harris says that the border is closed. She says it's open as we see these migrants coming across now. We're not sure how.
Now you see that? Kamala Harris said it's closed, but you have people coming in from Venezuela, as the young lady there said. It's open. The borders are open. So as I said earlier, somebody's lying. And honestly, I don't think this young lady here has a reason to lie if the border's open or closed. Because right now, I'm thinking politics is not necessarily on her mind right now. So that's it's getting worse. But let's watch a little bit more of this.
How many there are. We do know that according to Texas Governor Abbott's office, there have been about 7,900. Pardon me, do you speak English? ¿Habla inglés?
No, amigo.
¿De dónde eres?
Venezuela.
Venezuela? Everybody from todos Venezuela?
Sí, venimos prácticamente de Venezuela, un país muy duro. En realidad, queríamos ya salir de allá, tenemos días viajando. Migración también nos ha jodido mucho en México, pero lo que queremos es triunfar, queremos evolucionar, queremos tener de todo, queremos...
Okay, thank you. Yeah, buena suerte. So I'm not going to be able to translate all of that, and I wouldn't even try because it wouldn't look good on live TV. But as you can see, they're coming across here, all of these migrants. It appears to be at least 20 or so at this point. We have 2 buses. So what I was saying was, we know from Governor.
So we see what's happening here. This is getting crazy. And who's going to do something about it? Because I'm going to be honest with you, it should not just be up to the state of Texas, the state of Florida, the state of Arizona to do something about this. I mean, for those who want open borders and those who support it, they shouldn't have a problem with these people coming to their states. Or maybe finish building that wall that was never completed. How about that? All the way through. I mean, they just sent billions over to Ukraine. I'm pretty sure they can send, use more billions to build a huge wall from, Arizona all the way through across Texas. Now, would it be 100%, secure? Probably not, because I don't think it will ever be 100% secure. People will always find a way to get in, but it would be nothing, not even close to what's happening right now. Oh man, I tell you, man. Let's look at this other one here real fast. This one I think was from yesterday, as DeSantis sent some over to Martha's Vineyard, the place where rich and wealthy people go or live. Let's take a look at this one.
People from other countries wound up going to Martha's Vineyard. It was at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon that a couple of planes with 50 Venezuelan migrants arrived, apparently courtesy of Ron DeSantis. Apparently nobody was alerted on the island before they showed up.
And remember, if you go back, there's an article about 7 or 8 months ago. Ron DeSantis, he clearly said that maybe we should start sending them to Martha's Vineyard or Delaware. So I'm assuming at this point, the state of Delaware is probably next on the list. Maybe they could send them right to our quote unquote leader's house, send them right there, kind of like they did Vice President Harris's house. Maybe they could send them to his actual house. How about that? See if he like that. Then again, he may not even know that they're there. So I don't know.
Some of the people, according to the Boston Globe, did not know where they were. Well, you know what? If you don't know where you are, you're in Martha's Vineyard, one of the most spectacular progressive celebrity destinations in the world.
It's not a great time to buy, though, if you're an illegal
I don't think they're in the market.
Oh, they know? You know, well, if you're an agent, if you have one of those gold jackets, go down and see if
maybe they'll find work there. I mean, in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, they have all these Christmas festivals, the cranberry festivals.
Right. That's what they're there for.
They'll need some workers.
But I think it's just such a message. It's a message, yeah, we got a border problem, and you're ignoring the border problem. So we're going to bring the border problem to you. And what Ron DeSantis said about 6 months ago or 8 months ago is you're landing planes in Jacksonville in the middle of the night. Next thing you know, I'm dealing with school systems calling me up saying we're overrun with illegal immigrants. What's going on? We weren't even alerted about this. So if you're complaining about Ron DeSantis flying people in and not giving you a heads up, join the club. The president doesn't give anybody a heads up, including Democratic governors.
The Democrats say we are
exactly. It's like they're doing what they want to do.
We know the Republican state of Texas, the Republican state of Florida. You're feeling this, but that's okay. We're thousands of miles away, and these governors are saying it's not fair that we take on this burden. Right. We are also going to let you take on this burden. You're a sanctuary state, so you've said you're going to welcome them.
Exactly.
So we will send them to you.
And you know what, Ainsley, to your point, Ron DeSantis himself had mentioned before, you know what, all these migrants coming to Florida, I'm going to send them, he said a couple of months ago, to Martha's Vineyard or Delaware, which is Joe Biden's home state. That would get everybody's attention.
And DeSantis is confirming, yes, we did this.
Oh, his communications person.
This is getting pretty heavy. It's like watching a TV show. I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think about this? I mean, do you think they should continue to send them to so-called, I'll say, quote unquote, sanctuary cities or states? Should Delaware be next? what other state? You know, I mean, they've already sent some to Illinois. Maybe they should send some more there. DC, send some more to DC. Uh, hey, maybe they should send some to Seattle. Maybe Michigan. I don't know. What do you all think about this? What do y'all think the outcome is going to be? The overall outcome? Because someone's going to be forced to do something at the end of the day. It can't keep going on like this. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. Now, to further news. R. Kelly, once again, has been, I guess you can say, convicted of 6 counts on federal child pornography. Well, according to Rolling Stone here, R. Kelly convicted of 6 counts in federal child pornography trial. Wow, this is this is why you should watch your kids, number one, and also this is why we shouldn't, as I will keep saying it, we should not be looking up to these so-called famous musicians, you know, rappers, singers, actors, even professional athletes. Can't look up to these people because these people, the majority of these people, they're doing some evil things. I would say most of them are doing some evil things. Goes on to say here, sometimes justice never comes. Sometimes it takes more than 20 years for several women whom R. Kelly sexually assaulted when they were underage. Their decades-long fight ends in some vindication. R. Kelly was found guilty on 6 of the 13 counts, including creating child pornography and enticing minors into illegal sexual activity. On Wednesday, at his federal child pornography trial in Dirksen U.S. Courthouse in Chicago, the disgraced singer was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking at his Brooklyn federal trial last year and sentenced to 30 years in prison. The Chicago sentencing date has not been set. Wow, man, this is fallen, man. Kelly was indicted and charged with 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography, 2 counts of receiving child pornography, 4 counts of producing child pornography, 5 counts of enticement of a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. The counts vary with mandatory minimums from 5 years to maximums of up to 20 years each. Kelly's former business manager, Daryl McDavid, and former employee, Milton June Brown, who were tried alongside Kelly, were found not guilty on charges they covered up years of Kelly's sexual abuse of minors, which prosecutors allege included buying incriminating tapes taken from Kelly's collection. McDavid was found not guilty on all 4 charges: 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography, 2 counts of receiving child pornography, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. Brown was found not guilty on 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography. Wow, this is just a whole lot of stuff going on up in there, man. Man. It goes on to and I don't want to read all this to you all, but my question with this is, if they were his close acquaintances, I'm trying to figure out how they wouldn't have known. I don't know. I think a lot more people knew about this than are actually getting convicted. Not saying that R. Kelly doesn't deserve, you know, if he's guilty of it, then, you know, whatever the law provides, I guess, you know, he should have to face. But it's hard for me to believe that. I would say he's the main guilty party, but it's hard for me to believe there aren't at least a few more who are guilty in this also. That's just my opinion. You know, I think that some of his, you know, I guess crew or accomplices, whatever, seem like they all kind of got away. And I would also question the parents too of these young ladies. I mean, let's be honest, some of these parents want their children to have the fame, you know. Some of them only see money. Like, hey, maybe R. Kelly can, you know, get a record deal for my daughter or whatever, and you let them go over there and start spending a lot of time around. When even before this, I mean, the guy had supposedly he had an alleged history of doing this, but you still let your daughters go over there. I have a problem with that. You know, not like I said, not saying that R. Kelly's not at fault here, but I do think to a very small part of this belongs to the parents also. That's just my opinion on that. But let's read a little more of this. I don't want to read it all to you, but the case was about justice for the girls who were minors, not women. As the prosecution drove home over nearly 5 full weeks, the trial lasted. 4 women testified they were underage when Kelly sexually assaulted them, and a fifth said she was involved in a threesome with Kelly and the prosecution's star witness known as Jane. The case highlighted 4 videotapes depicting Kelly performing sexual acts with Jane when she was 14, with clips from 3 of the videos shown to jurors at the end of the trial's first week. The tape known as Video 4, which allegedly contains footage of some threesome. Not gonna get in all of that. But wow, falling very hard here. I mean, here's a guy who honestly, and if you do your research, you may believe me, you may not, but guy, one of the most musically, the most gifted people ever, musically. This guy has written songs that you would never even, you wouldn't even think he had written. He's produced. I mean, the guy is freaking amazingly talented and gifted when it comes to music. Now, you may not be hearing much of that anymore, but it still doesn't excuse what he did. So, what do you all think about this one? Let me know in the comments. Glad you all could join once again today. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. As I always say in the beginning, all comments are welcome, as long as they're tasteful and respectful. And once again, I will always leave you with this. We must continue to be a praying nation. We must continue to seek God. At the end of the day, that's all that's going to count. All the money, all the cars, all the fame that most people seek. I'm not saying that it's not okay to have money. We should all have money. We should all be, we should all not have financial issues, I believe. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to last forever is the word of God. Continue to pray. See you.